Hello, and welcome to the Gaz Williams Show with me, your host, Mr. Gaz Williams. And I've got an amazing show for you tonight. I'm really honored and absolutely thrilled to have Matthias Puech with me, who, as if you may be familiar with him, if you're not, you soon will be. And what a guest. And I'm going to bring the said gentleman forward now so you can all meet him. Here he is. Hello,
Hi.
Matthias. Hello.
What an introduction. I don't deserve it.
No, well, before we're going to press on in a moment with a little explanation about what the show is going to be about. We're just going live, so our audience is just building up, our live audience now. So I'd like just to say hello to those early people here, Mr. Robert Fatus Hesh and Tanith. I'm not sure how many people have joined us yet, but a few people will join as the stream starts. So just a little bit of early waffle, just whilst we get started. But I mean, essentially, we are going to be looking at Atelier, the new GRM, the new software suite from GRM in a GRM. We'll explain all of that in good time. Just going to let the chat grow a little bit more, and then we'll get into things. And so we're going to have some demonstrations later on in the show as well. But before that, we'll have a little bit of a history chat with Matthias, which I've got a load of questions in the pre-show bit where we were just talking. Now I was having to hold back. Right. Okay. So, oh, look at this. There we are. Okay. I think we're just getting a few more people joining us. So just a few words just before we get started. If you are new here, please consider subscribing. I'm doing not exactly regular live streams, occasional live streams at the moment. I do keep meaning to get back into live streaming, but life as it is gets in the way, blah, blah, blah. But definitely want to do more shows like tonight with guests and illustrious guests. Oh, that way rather, like Mr. Matthias Puech, who I am really thrilled to have here. So I will explain in good time now. So I think enough of my waffling, and let's plow on. So okay, so thank you very much for those of you who are joining live, and then we will hopefully get some more people. So what we'll do regarding the live chat is please don't ask questions to us just until the moment we ask for questions, just otherwise they can derail things somewhat. So we definitely can take questions from the live stream, but we'll do that at moments. So hold some questions back, and then we'll definitely have a chance there to address them. Okay, so right. Okay, lots to go through here. So Matthias, you are the creator, I guess. I mean, I'm not sure if this is something you've done on your own or with a team, but of Atelier. Is that is this a solo thing or a team project?
Yeah, more or less. It's a team thing, but it's a team of two. So it's the smallest team you can ever get, you know?
Yeah.
And so my colleague Lucian, who might be watching even tonight, is joined after the 2 years into the project, so halfways. And I've been super lucky to have him. He's a developer, but as I am, but we're both much more than this, because it's such a small team that we have to do everything, including talk about the product,
marketing,
which is usually reserved to marketing departments.
Yeah. Okay. Fair play. But I think we will be going on a deep dive into this remarkable software So stick around. That's going to be the second part of the show. First part of the show, though, I think really warrants a discussion about both Matthias, your career and how you've ended up at GRM, but also about in a GRM, like a little bit about the history of this incredible institution. So let's start there, because some of you may be aware of the name GRM from the GRM tools. That's certainly how I first got to hear about it. But let's go right back in time. And is it Pierre Schaeffer?
Yes.
Was the founder, and there was government money put into this too. It's like it's a what GRM was. It stands for.
So it stands for Groupe de Recherche Musicale, so the Musical Research Group.
Musical Research Group.
RMG, if you want to put it.
The inner part.
Okay, I can tell you a little bit about the story. I think it's a really interesting story because it's a history about French institutions dating back to the Second World War, and it's also a history of people and of like strong-minded people a lot. So GRM was founded by Pierre Schaeffer, who was originally a technician for the French public radio, and even before that, he was. Okay, for historians in your audience, I might say incorrect things on the way. I'm not a super expert into the history of it, but I can sum it up a little bit, and you can comment if you know better, which I'm sure is possible. But so Pierre Schaeffer was actually technician, an operator for Radio London, Radio Londres, when General de Gaulle was broadcasting to the French resistance during the Second World War. And he got to get his technical skills there. And after the liberation, the big French institution for radio at the time, it was the only thing that existed, was created. It was called ORTF.
Oh yeah.
And he got to have an important position after the war inside this, which was leading a bit the research and the research and development, we would say today, a team inside of ORTF. It was called the Studio d'Essai first, so the Studio d'Essai, and then in 58 he changed name various times, but in 58 what we now know as GRM was founded. And right. So the interesting part is that he got to he kind of invented a new way. Now it's not new anymore, it's very common, a new way to make music with the tools, to make some sort of music that wasn't called music at the time, with the tools that he knew from the radio. So pickups and mixing desks, and not tape at that time, it didn't exist, but how do you call locked grooves in vinyl. When so he got to have a musical practice out of this, which was outrageous and revolutionary at that time. Of course, it's very common today.
Can I just ask about that, like locked grooves then? So I'm thinking like locked grooves is essentially like a loop. You put it in and it just stays loop. So I hadn't really thought about that dating back to that kind of time. Was that used then as for special effects and like beds, sound beds and stuff?
So the story goes, nobody really knows if it's real or not. I mean, he wrote it, and a lot of people wrote about it, but the story goes that he discovered a little bit by accident that if you had a dust on the grooves of your acetate records, they would loop. and somehow the meaning, or the abstract meaning of what was there on that little loop was kind of lost, to something much more concrete, much more based in sound and not in like what we understand about it. And that was, at least that's how the story goes, that was kind of how it all started for him, and the realization that made him invent musique concrète, so the music that's not based on actual
traditional instruments, or
yes, and not even abstraction of of a meaning, but a direct connection with sound.
Yeah, amazing.
So just to finish the sentence, then ORTF exploded in '76 in France to form the France TV, so the TV, and then the Radio France, the radio, and INA, which is the National Institute for Archives.
Okay.
So basically, from there on, INA was responsible for two things. The first is archiving everything, so all TV and radio, everything on magnetic tapes and stuff.
Wow.
For people to be able to query this.
And this, have they been well maintained?
Oh, now it's all digitized, and there's a big, but it took 20 years to digitize everything. And so INA is this plus some form of research, and GRM is part of it. So a kind of applied research. It's not basic research, scientific research, but it's applied research, and it's a kind of aesthetic research about music. So.
So it's fantastic then when you talk about musique concrète and sort of how influential that's been in terms of on production and also on people's brains. I mean, this has really stretched people's brains, I think, in a really good way. So the fact that there is this continuity between Atelier, which we're going to be talking about now, and the very foundation of musique concrète is really quite special, I think.
That's what we try to do. I mean, it's a real challenge. It's a
big shoes,
big, gigantic legacy, But,
yeah. Wow. Okay. Sorry. So then, I suppose it was a logical progression for GRM to move into software and software tools.
Not really, actually. No? It's actually a bit surprising. So GRM from the start was a bunch of composers and a bunch of musicians, and but who were inviting other people in residencies in their own studio, in the studios, to invent new ways to make music, make pieces, make electroacoustic or concrete pieces, and that were then showed in shows here at the. So I'm currently at GRM because it was not possible to live stream from home. So I'm at work, and this is so I'm actually at the French at the headquarters of the French radio station, the French public radio station. I can't show you. If I turn my camera, it's going to be a mess. But so basically today, GRM is kind of perpetuating this legacy we have two studios where we welcome all year long musicians that we invite for commissions for playing shows. Here at the Maison de la Radio, we have two big auditoriums to do this. So most of the activity of GRM is production work, organizing shows and residencies and etc. But there was always a little bit of what they call research and development inside of GRM, which task was to invent the tools that these musicians could use, because this history is so linked between what was done and what we could do technically at the time, that it required people to invent the tools or to present the tools to musicians. So in the 70s and 80s, in the 70s, it was, complicated tape looping machines, and with multiple read heads, the phonogene and the morphophone, all these mythical machines that make noise, love to take the name off. And so in the 80s, then it was the first digital workstations for this, big fridges that we would bring from the studios of GRM on the stage. And so one of the first machines to ever process sound digitally live in real time was built at GRM. It was called Syter, Syter. It will probably ring a bell to some people. And then in the 90s, software came along. Computers could process sound in real time, and kind of an accident, just like the closed groove, the locked groove. They realized that you could sell it quite easily to people, and this was the birth of GRM tools. So it's a bit of an oddball, it's a commercial tool made in an institution for the use of composers here, but that was taken by the film industry and a lot of other genres.
I mean, but I think it's a complete, you have to use the term game changer carefully these days. The term gets used a little too easily, but I mean, it truly was. I mean, it's one of the first suites of plugins.
The
very first sets of plugins, but also, even though they were early in the plugin game, they were very developed and very interesting straight from the beginning. I think certain kind of like buffer and granular kind of effects, which were completely new to me. I think the GRM tools was the first time that I'd ever experienced those things, way before they moved into any form of relative mainstream in the music technology world. So this idea of being very much on the cutting edge and pushing things forward, see where I'm going with this, leads us into Atelier, which is again the reason that you've come on the show. So we're going to talk about that. So if you just joined, we are going to be looking at the software with Matthias, should I say the joint creator of these new. Now, let's just clarify then. It's not GRM Tools 4. GRM Tools is currently version 3, and that's the lineage that goes back to the late 90s. Atelier is a new product for GRM. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's a new product. The idea is we don't want to call this a new version of it, because it's really very different. And it stems on the same ideas as the historic suite of GRM tools, but it's completely new. So there is no single line of code in common with the old.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, there's nothing common. So it's all. It's more a reinterpretation than.
Now that's interesting, because so I think before we get stuck into that, then I think what I'd like to know though is more about you, really, because your name first became. I think I first became aware of it either connected to the Parasites firmware, alternative firmware for mutable instruments. We'll talk a little bit about that in a moment, but also with some of your collaborations with 4MS, again on the in the modular world, with the ensemble oscillator, and there's another one, isn't there?
And the topographic delay was
the topographic delay. That's the one. Sorry, of course, yeah. So yeah, let's just talk a little bit about how that came to be and how you came to do the parasites. And did you go from doing parasites to the 4MS collaborations? Was it that way around?
Yeah. It was. I'm almost afraid to say it. It was a hobby. It was not something I was developing to make a career out of. I was a I was a researcher in computer science before that at the university, so teacher and researcher, and I got caught up just like you by the the Eurorack bug, in
Mhm.
quite late in the game, 2014 or something. So at the right before the big explosion of it,
Yeah.
and I was a bit tired of doing basic research in computer science, and I had the feeling that I had no real impact on the world. You spent a lot of time, like a year, writing a 10-page paper that will
Mhm.
be published and read by 20 people. It was a bit dry. It was a very dry life. And I got this bug of playing with the tools. I was living in Montreal at that time, and I was buying like a madman, buying modules like a madman. And then so I stumbled upon the mutable instrument stuff, and it clicked immediately. Uh, but then, the Parasites was born really out of a kind of frustration, uh, because I didn't have any infinite money. I wanted this module, this brilliant module, to do something tiny bit different, and I was tweaking. So since I got the knowledge of how to program, it was my day job, so to say. Uh, I got this. I started
Oh,
to develop the
we're talking
parasites.
about the clouds parasites. Was that
Yeah,
the?
the first one was the clouds, so just tweaking values, then making new modes, and it was all over the place. I don't I'm not very proud of what I did back then with the parasites. It's all over the place. It's very difficult to use, but I was I had an urge, to make things, to discover. I was discovering DSP, the GSP programming at that time, also reading books like a madman, going to the public library in Montreal to like swallow entire books about DSPs. Yeah.
Ah. So I
So
mean,
this is how parasites
well, I
started.
mean, you're saying you're late to the party coming into modular at 2014. For me, it was more like 2020 and 2021
Ah.
so I was really late, and I was resisting for such a long time, and it became almost like a comical resist. You know, Div Kid would tease me, and Mylar Melodies would tease me, saying it's only a matter of time. And I was going, never, never, never. And now here I am, completely skint, but with lots of modules. But anyway, the reason I was mentioning that though was because a little bit about mutable instruments, because I've got a current project at the moment called the Mutable Challenge, and the point of the Mutable Challenge is a way of kind of celebrating this incredible contribution to the world of music technology that mutable instruments brought, especially due to the fact that the open source nature of it, which seems like this amazing gift, because it's not just the software, it's the hardware schematics, and so many people have created their own clones and then developed them and taken them off into different directions. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because I think the parasites, as far as I was aware, I remember before I was into modular, I remember people talking about clouds, and then people started talking about parasites, and it was just like, what on earth is all of this? So I was a little bit late to kind of coming into this, but then when I got my first clouds, which was a clone, it had parasites pre-installed in it, and so it was just this incredible depth of possibilities within that module. But also, I think it's also quite interesting that clouds, and indeed, then parasites, etc., is part of this change where modular synthesis was the only way that you could do analog synthesis in any kind of sense in the 2000s, mid 90s. You just couldn't get, unless you bought secondhand prices were starting to really shoot up. No one was making the chips for analog really, or very limited. So actually modular synths was the place you'd go to for analog. So these new digital modules, initially, because I remember this way back when people were like a bit like, no digital in this analog world. This is all about analog. I was just wondering if you had any thoughts about that, because you came from that computer background. So I suppose very much a digital kid, really, I suppose. But there's like a kind of democratization, I think, through like open source and people being able to learn and tinker and fiddle as indeed that you did. Where was I going with this?
I can tell you my feeling is that I might be wrong, but my feeling is that now the divide is kind of where everybody's over it. There was big feuds on the forums, etc. At that time, 2014, about this. Now it's kind of over. I think partly because now we all understand that what matters is not actually the technology that's behind it, but it's a kind of spirit in designing the thing to be close to the experience. What's great about the analog gear from the 70s, etc., is that since it's analog and since there was no other way because of the gigantic limitations of analog, you had to be interacting with the material you were given. So you had to be not only an actor of you playing, but also a listener, and the experience of what the gear was sending back to you when you were turning a knob immediately. That's what was important about it, and that's what I think Mutable Instruments and others really made popular in the modular world. Is we don't care about the technology that's underneath it. What's important is that all of the controls are there. You can easily manipulate. You can understand. There is something really tactile and immediate about it, and this doesn't depend on the technology. You can do this on a computer, on a tablet, or on a circuit board the same way. I think.
Like, so you're really trying to find ways to channel creativity and make that creativity a fluid and as enjoyable process, really, and that's the important bit, to make it fun.
Make it fun and make it a dialogue. A dialogue between the machine and you, or a dialogue between and it also comes back to this idea of Pierre Schaeffer. We're only the first listeners of our own music. Whether it's music or just noise, we're only kind of spectators of what we're creating, and our job is a lot about how do you say? Sorry. I'm gonna start to lose my words as we I'm 1 hour ahead of you in terms of
sorry, it's late.
Really, the interaction is what counts, really, and the fact that we're curators as much as performers. In electronic music especially, is what counts.
So then I'm curious then how how the 4MS thing happened. Did you go from like Parasites to 4MS, or was there something in between, or did they approach you? How did it come to be that you designed those great modules with them?
Yeah, so 4MS is run by a wonderful team, and especially one key figure, Dan, who's the designer, the lead designer of the whole thing, and the owner. And I just sent him an email, and he responded, and he was interested at that time. I sent the email at the right moment. He was looking for new ideas and new developments. I had like books full of it, And I was frustrated by the fact that the mutable instruments modules, they came with their own set of inputs and outputs, knobs, etc. You couldn't change this by a firmware update.
Firmware, yeah.
Mm. So yes, we started discussing about one effect. The funny thing is, one effect module of stereo kind of delay things. They had just released the stereo, the DLD, the stereo delay they had. But I had this idea of a multi-tap delay, a large multi-tap delay with like tens and tens of taps. And I knew it was creating something interesting. And I knew it because I had played with GRM tools, the former one,
right?
In the 90s when I was 14 years old on a copy of dubious provenance, as we were saying. And so there was this plugin inside of it called Delays, which was exactly that, a multi-tap delay where you could like kind of less freely place the taps on the buffer. And I wanted to replicate that in Eurorack because I knew there was something, I knew from experience there was something interesting DSP-wise and musically inside of it. So typographic delay was so straight from the mutable instrument stuff, and directly inspired by GRM tools, which is kind of
fantastic. Funny. This is this is all linking up now. Yeah. So then your second module with them was the
ensemble oscillator.
Ensemble oscillator. Yeah, how did that come into being then? Because that's a really interesting module.
So it started straight when we finished the typographic delay. We started working. We wanted to work together once more, and we started bouncing ideas around. I had 4 or 5 different routes to go. Some kind of pitch shifter, some kind of different effects, mixing, digital mixing desk, extremely complicated and too expensive. And I had this prototype laying around. I was just playing with, some code that was running on the one of 4MS, another 4MS module, and it made some sound. It was originally some kind of FM additive hybrid, and Dan immediately bought it. He said, "Okay, this one. Let's go with this one and talk it through." So the inspiration from it is I had just discovered spectralism. So this
like a FFT type.
No, spectralism is a musical movement in contemporary music that was born in the 70s in France, mostly at IRCAM. So Gérard Griset, a lot of different composers, and it was this idea that the harmonic suite.
Yes.
You can see it as a complex sound. We're all taught that like a saw wave is an infinite number of harmonics decreasing in amplitude, and so you could see it as a way to form complex sound, but you could see also it as an ensemble. So a set of many different overlay of different frequencies overlaid on top of each other, and kind of blurring the line between what a chord is, or what an ensemble plays, when they play different notes at the same time, a chord on the piano, and a timbre. So what constitutes a timbre, which is a set of harmonics too. And there was kind of a gray zone there that I wanted to explore. So something between chords and complex timbres.
Yeah,
timbres.
Yeah, I like to say timbre, but it is timbre, really.
Okay.
Well, as I'm assuming, but so that's so we're getting more up to date now to where we are now. So I can sort of see how, with what you'd already achieved then to that point there, that almost felt like to go to GRM was the natural path. Did you approach them, or did they approach you?
Actually, I was. So this is very personal and maybe boring to a lot of viewers. I was approached as a composer to do a residency here.
Great.
First. And so I had a piece at one of their festivals at the time. It was the first time I was using the ensemble oscillator live. It was not out yet. It was a prototype, a really buggy prototype, and I was sweating during the whole performance that the thing would crash on me.
Wow.
So I played live. So I was invited as a composer, and then a few months afterwards, I took a leave from my university job because I wanted to explore the musical path a little bit more. And it turned out so GRM Tools was always a one-person job, almost always a one-person job. So my predecessor, so the guy they developed the GRM tools throughout the 2000 and 2010s, was retiring. And so they approached me to take over, because they realized that I was a computer scientist, and I was able to.
And I think your path as well, especially the computer science, but also the musician side as well, is that thing. So before we get on to Atelier, then the last thing I wanted to talk about before we did that was about your career as a musician then, because you've had a number of records out. How would you describe a composer, but also a performer? How would you describe your musician?
Just a musician,
Yeah.
A composer, I would say, is a good term, because so I like this idea of composition, not only putting things together, but like kind of, as I was saying, kind of being a matchmaker for sounds, assembling stuff, and being just about listening more than about curating and listening and matchmaking different sounds, more than be a performer. I can barely play the piano,
Yeah, I'm rubbish on the piano. Okay, brilliant. But and then this had then led to you so you put out a few records now, haven't you?
Yeah, I can't. I don't know. Maybe 7 or 8 on different labels. The small labels of the community I'm now part of. Experimental, electroacoustic music.
Well, I mean, GRM itself was very much a label, and lots of great records on the GRM label.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely some illustrious forebearers there. So are those? If people are interested to listen to some, where would they go to? Is that under your name or under an artist's name?
No, it's just my name, Matthias Puech. You can Google it in 5 minutes. I have a Bandcamp with that's more or less up to date. I actually, if I can plug this really quick,
Please do, please.
I just announced a new record today.
Oh, nice.
This is the randomness of the agenda. Out on a label called Halo Ground, a Swiss label. It's my second work with them, and it's called La Traversée, which which I should work on how to translate it. I don't know. It's about it's kind of a nutball, maybe a little bit darker than what I do usually.
Okay.
It's just announced. It's not out yet, but there's a preview on their Bandcamp.
Ah, okay, excellent, brilliant. So, okay, so I think now is the time to move over to Atelier. Thank you very much for that. That's given us some really great background information there for sort of now as we move into Atelier. Now, Atelier is just about to be released, I think, in a couple of days' time.
Less than just a week, 7 days.
7 days from now. Okay, so and there will be a demo available. No, I don't think the demo is available yet, is it? So
no, it's not. No. It's not yet. It's not downloadable yet. It's the same. I mean, it's you download. There's a single download, and then you get the demo until you
and then they can unlock it.
And,
yeah. So let's try and explain it. Before we look at it, let's just try and describe it first. So it's a suite, like GRM tools generally, a suite of creative blocks that you can link together, and this is something which I think is really something I'm really interested in. The enormous amounts of modular influence in the way that you connect these elements together. So the fact you've got this modular part of your story makes a lot of sense. Now you can use it as a VST or a AU as a plugin. Does it work standalone or is just as a plugin?
No, it's actually a standalone and a plugin. So you get the exact same thing in the standalone and in the plugin. It's the same thing. I like to call so more than the former GRM tools were a suite. So each one was its separate thing. And now the big news, the big difference is that now it comes into a kind of an environment. Where you can, which unlocks a lot of things. So, which unlocks the fact that you're just not just giving a set of processors, a sound processor, a set of plugins, but they can actually interact with each other. They can be modulated together or differently. And you can build a whole chain of effects. And now also the big novelty of it is also that compared to the old suite, let's say, is also that you can do a little bit of synthesis and sample playback and resampling into it. So we ended up with the name Atelier because I really like this idea of it's your workbench. You have a limited set of tools, the different modules that we provide, and each tool is kind of complete. It's kind of, I agree with you, it's kind of very inspired in granularity by Eurorack. So it's not like basic building blocks like in Max MSP, say, but it's a bit more than that.
Mm-hmm. It's so I think I'll just open it up here just to give a little bit of context. I'll remove that. So, sorry, carry on. So you're saying about like Max MSP, it's
So when you open it up, it looks like that. It's it's not a blank slate. It's not a blank slate. All the little icons you see there are the modules that we provide. This is on day one. This is the version 1, but we'll over the years will in the future will enrich the collection by a lot of. I have like notebooks full of ideas for additional modules, but this is what we provide. Kind of basic, very understandable modules. So a multiple read head playback engine,
which
a
is
generator, a comb filter. So very basic units.
Yeah.
And you can use it just like you did. Open Ableton, instantiate it on the track, and then choose your module there to
just got
process external sound
as a plugin. And then, as you say, this environment then is a sort of like an environment within the environment of Ableton, and we can see we've got a few controls. There's a master record here, which is great for just recording whatever you're doing internally. So I've got a confession. I've only played with the play and the I've only played with 3 of them so far, but really this play engine is immense. It's immense. I mean, since I've got into modular, this is something I mentioned earlier, I really have not been particularly interested in working on a computer because I really enjoy the modular nature. But now, coming back to this, there's such a lot which I've learned in the modular world that directly translates into using this, and so that's what I thought was really good. Now I know that you can do a demonstration of this as well. You've got it at your end there, so perhaps actually it might make more sense if I close this and then if we bring your
sure
yeah
and,
okay, so but I have got it here as well should we need it.
I can do the little demo on my side. So if can you see it now?
And you're running it as the standalone? Yes, we can.
Yes. So I'm running the standalone right now. So it's just one click away, in the dock, and then you're good to go. And I'm greeted with the same thing. Maybe I can start, if you want, by opening a patch that was already made, and you can tell me also if it makes any sound. Can you hear it?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can hear it.
Great. So this is an example of a full-featured patch. It's everything you hear is pure synthesis. There's no instance of play. It's all a bunch of generators, so our oscillators, and then effects, a comb filter.
Everything flows from left to right then?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. So the first module is this one, then it goes through this one, through this one, through this one, etc. And the generator here, I can hear through it because the mix is not exactly at 100%. So I'm not hearing only this instance, but a little bit what comes before it in the chain, And it goes from left to right here. So
I think we might have a mirrored image here, actually. I might see if I can unmirror it.
It's mirrored on your side?
Yeah, it's sort of...
Okay, I can do it, actually. I mirrored it. I don't understand these things. Let's see.
Let's see, I might have an option to flip it. Because I was thinking, I thought it was running from left to right, not right to left, and then I realized that we got it back.
Is this better?
Yes.
Because now I can see it in reverse in the streaming window. But if it's okay for people, it's fine.
Oh, that's going to be hard for you.
No, it's fine. I can see it on the actual. Yeah,
no, that's.
So let's start from the beginning, maybe.
Yeah.
So Gen is the first. This generator, this oscillator is the first module.
This is almost like
goes through this one.
Yeah.
Through this one. So these are all generators.
Mm-hmm.
And then a comb filter, and then this multi-tap delay here that was inspired by the typographic delay itself, inspired by the
GRM.
Previous GRM thing.
Lovely.
comb filter. So it's not even the full set of modules that we provide.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a subset of it, and already like you can play this. What it's one of the game you can play with Atelier is building this kind of fully autonomous generative patches that go on forever. And in the here the second row here on the bottom is your modulator set. So each one is one of 3 different modulators. So it's different kind of modules, if you will, agitation, peak, and control, and then you can. So any parameter in Atelier can be modulated itself. So for example, this modulator here, it modulates one of the modulators, and this one modulates 2 things. You can see on the little wires.
Yeah.
This one modulates a bunch of other stuff, and if you want to see all wires, it gets a bit messy, just like on your modular synth. But then you can hide them.
Yeah.
And so it's stop me if you want to ask specific questions. But
there is one thing I wanted to mention though. I was really pleased to see that you can just MIDI learn any parameter as well. So if you wanted to create a really interesting MIDI controller environment for it, then it's very capable in that area.
Yeah, exactly. So, for example, this is a parameter that controls the probability of some elements. Now they're appearing a little bit more frequently, and this is completely turned off. You can't hear it anymore. And so I can just right-click, learn MIDI, move my control, and here I am. It's now I'm moving my controller to automate it. So it was one of the goals to make MIDI mapping super easy for people to build complex patches and to control them.
Yeah. So actually, Jack is asking about what are the different red, green, and white dots doing. So maybe we could talk a little bit about some of the interface things, because you will see that across all of the modules.
Yeah, I can start over maybe on a completely new patch.
I think that's a good idea.
Let's take play, since it's your favorite one.
I love it.
Let's record something quickly. So I have my mic turned on, and I can record. Something really basic like that.
It's nice.
Okay. And so here, this white dot here, it represents the only playhead that's available here. But if I click again, I'm creating a new entity of play, and the entities of plays are playheads. Okay, so now I have 2 different playheads reading the same material at different speeds. So this one is a little bit up. This one we can go further down. And so these little dots here, this what we call cursors. Each cursor represents a different thing in the interface. So let me find another example. Let's say now I want a pitch shifter on top of this. So say I have my 2 little birds here, and I want to add a pitched version of them, 1 octave up. And I can delay it. And the same principle applies. So each of these little dots, each of these cursors are different, are here different pitch shifters that act on the same input, which is what play is playing here.
Right, nice.
And then I can increase my feedback to do something a little bit more complex, and then have mix all the way, and then freeze stuff.
And you get these like 8 snapshots along the bottom as well.
Yeah, and then I can, for example, recall one of the presets in some time, let's say 3 seconds.
Yeah. And that's that morph control on the right. Then is
Yeah.
how quick it takes to move from one sort of set of values to another.
Yeah, exactly. So morph controls the morphing time,
Yeah.
which is active when you recall one of the presets. So these are the factory given not presets, we call them snapshots, the factory snapshots. But of course, you can like put it in the state you desire and save. I just saved it. And then you can move from there to something else and recall it as quick as you want, either instantly if you put morph at 0 or in some time like this. Or even you can randomize the whole thing. So if I click here, it will morph to something completely random that has 99% chance to be very difficult to listen to, but some 1% might be super interesting.
So here's one of the really cool things about this is that this is very much like a multi-channel software. In then, if you were to map the red and the green dots, for instance, to a or rather, you can have them each of those move and come out their own outputs, and then so you can start to create like a lot of spatial movement. I think that was.
I didn't mention that, but so the colors represents the channels. So here we're in stereo. So green is left and red is
Right. Okay.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
And so by default, this playhead number 1 is assigned to the red to channel 1, and this one to channel 2. And by default here, this is how it comes. This spread control here controls whether each of these playhead will play only on its assigned channel or on all channels. So for example, if I do this, I really have...
Yeah. I was just trying to get us both on there, but I've just gone and spoiled it all. I was trying to find one that would work, but no. Hang on. Sorry, let me put you back in. It was all looking great, and now I've spoiled it. Not me. Let's go to you. I can't quite get one right, so I think no. I got my presets. What was I doing?
This is okay. No.
Oh, there we go. There we go. It's right. No, I was just being vain. I was just trying to get myself into the shop. I'll settle for just my disembodied voice. Sorry about that.
So yeah, this is right now spread at 0% means each playhead will play on its own channel, and if spread is at 100%, each of the playheads they play on both channels. And so this might seem a little bit trivial on stereo, but I didn't mention this yet. But the software is fully multi-channel. So so it means if you go on your settings here, I'm not going to do it because it's going to mess up my the config for the stream. But if you increase the number of output channels, if you go to 64 output channels, then you will have 64 different colors and 64 different ways to put these playheads here and spread them out to space, and then spread really it takes all its meaning. But already you can see it.
There's a venue in Bristol. It's got I think it's a D&B system, ambisonics. It's not Atmos. It's this would be amazing in there. You could have each channel come out of a different location in the room. Oh my goodness! Yeah.
So I didn't get to test Atelier on a super large scale multi-channel environment like this yet. I tested on an 8 or 16 because that's what we have here, but I would be super curious to be honest.
Yeah. God.
Yeah, just playing a lot, playing a little
Oh
bit.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, this play engine is enough in itself, really, for a million different possibilities. So let's have a look then at some of the other modules. Then, do you call them modules or?
Yeah, modules.
Yeah. So the
Modules.
different.
Yes. So play is one of them. The other one that you can have on first in your chain is
Mhm.
gen. Gen is a generator. I'm not gonna bother to make a generator, but if you click, you get a sine wave.
Yeah.
You can click again, and so each instance, each entity, each cursor here is not is a different oscillator,
And
and
then
you
you
can
can.
change
Yes.
this.
Like. Oh yeah, nice. So presumably then you could have up to 64 different oscillators, all with different settings if your computer could
Yeah, I
handle it.
think that the max, the limit, I think is 32, but it's a matter of
Only
it's
32.
it's a completely
Yeah.
arbitrary limit.
Okay.
And then I can recall some of the factory things I have.
Oh yeah, so they can start to then morph to those new.
Yeah. Or you can use it for chords.
Oh yeah.
Or you can use it. Maybe I can show you. I can show you this now. You can use it to actually to be modulated. So this, for example, is the gain. So what I haven't talked about yet is, for example, so any parameter is modulatable,
Yeah.
and I can take, for example, let's say agitation. So agitation is for the modular heads around here. It's a random LFO. Okay, and then I can shape my. So I could, for example, go. Okay, let's modulate the gain, just the gain. I'm adjusting the width, the
Yeah, and you've
range
got
of modulation here,
so
and
you
you
can
can see.
you can use. I just when I was playing around with it, you can have any amount of modulations from one source and set the offset and attenuation of.
Yeah. So so you might be familiar with this cable, right? But what's a bit new here is that I modulated the gain, the global gain parameter here, which looks like a global gain parameter, but actually it's controlling 8 different things, right? Because I have 8 different oscillators here active. So actually, and this is a bit novel, we call it polyadic. The modulation coming out from this random LFO here, it's not like in your modular synth, it's not just one cable that will modulate all the gains the same way, but it will have as many instances, as many different random LFOs, independent random LFOs, as there are active oscillators here. So each of you can see the little balls here moving along, and this is kind of the new thing here, right? Each and every gain is modulated differently. Of course, if you don't want that, you can disable it and go to the normal behavior of just one gain that goes up and down, But you can do it polyadically, and it really opens up the kind of things you can do with it. So one other example is, okay, let's take the same agitation here, go a bit faster, and now modulate. So this is a global transposition, right? It transposes all the voices at the same time. And if I modulate this, I see the little 8 on my cable here, and it means that every single oscillator will be modulated by a different random LFO that has the same parameters as this one. So this is not like your rack.
No. Yeah.
And if I want other parameters, of course, I can have another agitation that does something completely different. I don't know. This, Oops, sorry. Yeah, like this. And now the gain is modulated differently by this kind of envelope that I just did. So yeah, modulation is really a big part of the tool. I mean, to me personally, it's like 75% of the fun.
So I was kind of wondering about CPU overheads, and like obviously when you're working on a module like clouds, and you're dealing with a very relatively tiny processor, it must be quite luxurious having the full computer sort of available then.
Yeah, I mean, so this takes what we just did here takes 2% of one core of your CPU. So I think it's quite optimized. You can go, so the big patch I was showing you earlier is maybe 20%, and it's already 10 plus modules in. So.
Okay, good to know.
So yeah, I think it's quite reasonably optimized that it won't overload. I didn't manage to overload the CPU, to be honest, even with gigantic patches. I'm playing with it live now. It's okay. So I can tell you, you were asking earlier, I can tell you the different kind of modules modules we have. So this Gen is one of them. I just did this patch with it. We have a comb filter, quite a simple looking comb filter that you can abuse into a reverb if you want, or take into a completely different. Let's take a. So the input now is just white noise. A comb filter. You have the famous bandpass from the former GRM Tools suite. So this is just white noise. And you can isolate a very small bands of frequency. It's a super steep filter that's really isolating extremely precisely. But now you can adjust the slope completely. It can be super smooth. You can do little rabbit ears.
Yeah.
And now you can have as many bands as you want. So for example, foreheads, modulating the center of the band, so transposing. So this is bandpass. It's actually a lot more than just a bandpass filter now. You can use it as an equalizer.
Wow.
Okay, so this is one. Then you have pitch that we saw earlier. You have time. Time is this. Let's take a very simple sound. So this is just the dry sound. And so time is this multi-tap delay thing. So you can place taps. So now each of the cursor is a different tap. And by placing them, you can kind of make it reproduce a rhythm on its own. And it's followed by a bandpass filter. So you can get this very very, very GRM-y.
Yeah.
Modulate everything. So this is time. And then you have my favorite one, which is gain.
Which is like a VCA.
Yeah, but it's actually not. It's actually a little bit more, so you can play some interesting tricks with it. So if I run a sawtooth through it, for example, sorry if it's too loud. So it looks just like a normal gain slider, right? But it has two tricks up its sleeve. The first one is, so this is just gain, volume. But if I increase muffle here, as I fade away, you can maybe notice that some of the high frequencies are going away with...
Oh, yeah. Almost like a low-pass gate.
Yeah, it's exactly the inspiration. It's a low-pass gate. And then on top of this, you can add distance. Distance will get you a little bit of a distance effect. And this to me, is just a fader, but it's what a fader is, what a fader in a mixing desk is supposed to be like. It's supposed to be a control of how far your source is, and not just how loud it is.
Yeah.
And now, if I modulate it, so if I go like this, for example, you can see the little ×2 on the cable, and that tells me that actually this fader is controlling two different things, right? It's controlling the left gain and the right gain. And so if I drop it, they will be modulated differently, so independently of each other. So now you have something that evolves over time in a random way, in a chaotic way.
Wow.
This is a bit extreme, but... So this is gain, and just to finish off the tour, Viz is just a visualizer. So it gives you a precise measurement of frequency, precise measurement of your waveform, so all the way from like big picture to very tiny details. You can pause into it. This was actually just a development tool for us, and we figured it would be interesting for people.
Oh, I think it's fantastic to have that in there.
It's nothing revolutionary, really, but it's quite handy.
I think what's nice, though, is that there's a consistency visually and logically across all of the modules. So, that all fits in to that kind of workflow really, really nicely. What I was thinking I could do, if that's okay, is it's like if I bring in what I was messing around with earlier. So if I just bring up this, and let's go on to here. Let's see if this works. Can you hear that, drums?
Yeah.
Okay. So then I was creating...
It's just a simple click, yes.
Simple click, yeah. So multiple versions. And then I was getting some agitator, getting things to...
You didn't press play on the other playheads.
Yes. So they've all got their own playheads. That's great.
You have a global one on the top and individual ones.
And it's just madness. If I wanted to... Oh, yeah, and you can stop them all with one play. Will that start them all? Right, okay. So I'd set a whole bunch of things running earlier. I had them maybe much. I set them really, really slowly, and it just starts just to do the most remarkable thing. I mean, that sounded a bit chaotic then, but sorry, you were going to say something.
Yeah, maybe what you can try. So you have position modulated now.
Yeah.
If you reduce duration by a lot, so duration is the next one.
Yeah.
Put
Oh
it
yeah,
at
yeah,
1% or something. Now each playhead is moving along the file randomly, and if you press play now, I think it could be interesting.
Free jazz.
Even shorter duration. Just tiny.
Oh yeah, you can change the fades of those. Wow. Oh, yeah.
Now it's playing granularly, so you're playing such a small little tidbits of the sound that it's granular playback.
Yeah. I better stop that before people's heads explode. I think then when I was playing it, I then started hitting these different presets. Wow. And all moving around in stereo. Oh, stop it. Wow. I mean, okay.
I had no idea what was going on there in your patch. That's what's funny. I'm still discovering a little bit how people use it, and I'm a bit flabbergasted by how many different kind of sounds people are.
I mean,
getting out of it.
I think I've been playing around with this, which is I'm going to be covering this in more depth in the future. And this is the Torso S4, which is really good fun, but it feels like a real beginner's tool compared to this one. Not beginner's tool, that's not right, but I mean the S4 is fine, but I've been playing around with a few things with like skittering a playhead around, but in this case, and you can just, did you say I could just keep on adding playheads?
Yeah, there's a maximum, but it's very far away.
Right. So yeah, it's just the mind boggles really when when I'm thinking about what the possibilities of it are. Okay, how long? Okay. Well, so we'll go on a little bit longer with the stream, but not. We'll start to draw things to a close in a bit. But so just in case you're joining us now, this is coming out a week today, and it is the latest in GRM Atelier. So in terms of, I think. Like earlier, we were talking then and about the history of GRM. To wear that badge, then for it to be an official part of the lineage of GRM, it does give you a certain I mean, you seem like the perfect match for this with the things that you'd already done, but I'm kind of curious though. There's a definite path, or there's a definite set of objectives for it to be a true GRM product. I wonder if you could tell us what those are. Does that question make
Yeah,
sense?
kind of the philosophy of it, you mean?
Yeah, philosophy. That's right. Yeah, the philosophy and sort of how that then kind of channels your design decisions.
Yeah, so obviously we said that already, but it was a big standing on like fearing the height a bit, standing on the shoulders of really tall giants,
Yeah.
and it was a bit intimidating. But so uh, uh, so I think it aligned well in the sense that the philosophy that was started by at GRM 50 years ago or 60 years ago, um, it really resonated with me, and I think with a lot of people today. So we kind of take for granted what these people in the 50s had to fight for, and the ideas that I'm trying to keep or trying to perpetuate with these tools. They're what we talked about earlier, like privileging or emphasizing experience over intent. So I don't think it's the only. I think the only way to go into Max MSP, for example, is to have an idea of what to do because you're presented with this blank slate at the beginning. This is not. It's perfectly respectable, etc. Of course, I mean, it's obviously, but with Atelier, what we really want is a tool that's so approachable that you come into it with maybe an idea, and 5 minutes in, you forgot about your starting idea,
Yeah.
and you're doing something completely different.
Yeah, this is
And
my
great.
first experience is exactly that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we did our job. So this is one. So this is the main goal. I think was this. Another was to have a tool that's the most universal possible. So something that we can put on, that we can feature on your show with people that are informed, that know who know modular synths, but also. I was recommended once to put it on Steam, the gaming platform. I think it's quite interesting. I would love it to become not just a tool for composers, but a video game.
Sounds fine. Yeah, why not? I mean,
A
yeah,
fringe, obscure video game about making sound,
yeah,
So there's something that I've been looking for to make it universal. Universal, not in the sense of like for your grandma and your from 7 to 77 years, but universal in the sense that there's a bit of something for everyone into it. That it has something to propose for any compositional idea, whether you do electroacoustic avant-garde music or pop or whatever.
yeah.
I'm kind of hoping for this. Of course, it's impossible, and
Well, I mean, I guess there's such a lot of possibilities with it. It's going to be mind-boggling what people are going to be able to achieve with it. In the short time that I've spent with it, it already has just given me new ideas, things that I really that I'm looking forward to exploring. And I think I mentioned earlier to the chat, if anybody would like to ask any questions, I think now is a good time. So anyone out there in chatland, if there's any questions, please put a double Q at the beginning of your question, just so we can clearly see that it is a question. But yeah, so yeah. What is the price of it? Is there any opening discounts, or is it?
yeah.
Yeah.
249 is the MSRP.
Yep.
So it's as what's the extra? I fought long for this to be very accessible, or at
Yeah.
least I think it is cheaper than the the previous
Oh, they were
version.
really
Yeah.
expensive, weren't they?
So $249, and there will be a discount the first month. So starting next week, it will be $199.
$199. Yeah, amazing. That's so. I mean, and then will that be a single purchase, or will the kind of additional elements that you're going to add later will they be included?
Yeah. So the business model is this is version 1 that we're releasing. Version 1 will last probably two years, maybe more if I don't have much help in terms of development. And I will continue to add modules. We'll continue to add modules, new features to the whole thing as we go, and you will get these updates for free. But one day we'll decide, okay, this is now version 2. It's too different than version 1, and then you will have to upgrade for something cheap and undetermined at this point.
So I think, I don't know if I'm speaking for everybody here, but I think that's the business model that works best, rather than subscription models or being sort of, I think that is that's the model that I'm most comfortable with. Okay, well, I think there's any questions. I think the chat is lagging behind a little bit, but so now's your time with the main man in the building, or rather in that rather special building over there. I love Paris. I mentioned earlier before the show that I spent some time there back in 2013, and yeah, so are you? I was trying to work out actually. Are you French or French Canadian?
No, French.
But moved to Montreal.
Yeah, just all French people do at some point end up in Montreal, have fun for a couple for a while. It's very common.
So actually, this question here now, this does relate to what we talked about earlier. You're saying, do you still have time to do music? And you've got your new album that you mentioned earlier. That it's just been
it's been kind of it's been a busy for almost 5 years for that, but I'm catching up now. So I had incidentally 3 different releases throughout this year, 2025. But it's been when I arrived and when I was deep into the code, it was difficult, and it was also difficult to switch back and forth between being a user and between a code designer.
A few more questions come in. So some modules work with live input.
Oh yeah. I didn't showcase this at all, but everything you saw here, it's completely real time, and you can use it as just an effect. It works. It takes your live input, multi-channel if you want. If you have like 8 microphones or 8 input, you can process them all together.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, this is immense. It is immense. Oh, Mr. Jervis is saying, don't forget to like. Please, if you can like this stream, we'd most appreciate that. Thank you very much. Some more question. Here. If there's a version 2 that comes out, will it be an extension or a rework of the current modules? Probably too early to say, I would have thought.
A little bit of everything. I mean, some modules will get extensions. There will be completely new module. So the advantage of this business model is that it's a whole. It's not we're not selling things by the module, so we can do whatever we want. If we want to have new core functionality, we can, and it all depends on you using it. It's really free.
Yeah, cool. Okay, there's another question here. Is there a way to use sort or a sort of more features like in the old ones? Yeah, that was a big part of the old ones, wasn't it? The old GRM tools we're talking about
Yes.
there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For the moment, there is what I did, what I showcased. So you can you have these snapshots here, and you can go back and forth between them, or randomize.
Oh yeah, and
There
set that.
was something. Maybe the person is talking about one of the features of the old GRM tools, which was called the super slider. So
Yeah.
a way to evolve into this. That it's not there at this point. I'm really willing to hear people and how they use the former tools to know where to go from there too. If it's really something extremely important for their workflow, if it's not, etc.
So will there be a Discord or a way for users to communicate directly?
Unfortunately, not at this point. We have a completely static website, and you can just click on buy and get your license. And for the moment, that's it. I'm wishing for a forum or some kind of Discord, but we're a big organization with a legal department that's very careful about moderation, etc. So,
I understand. Yeah. Here we go. So there's another one here. Can you record out to separate mono tracks in the DAW to mix there?
Record out to separate mono tracks in the DAW. So I can show this.
Yeah.
Actually, I can show right now. Whatever you do, you just click on record, and it records a multi-channel file. And then you can go here to your recordings and drag this wherever you want. If you drag it in, it creates a play. If you drag it to your DAW, it creates a new instance of it. So separate mono tracks, then it's up to your DAW. So it's your DAW's responsibility then to do whatever. But it's really easy to make a bunch of mono tracks from the.
I'm assuming then if you can just, if you drag any audio file in the drag and drop, it will just, if you drop it like a file off your desktop, if you
it's a multi-channel file then.
Right. Oh yeah, sorry. What you record is a multi-channel, like a WAV file. Yeah, because a WAV file can have 64 channels.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm not aware of any limits actually.
Oh right, no. So, but all just in that single file. Yeah. Something I don't think is used enough of really. So that's cool. So then, from an operational point of view, then the whole drag and drop ethos. Then, if you want to just I didn't realize that then. So you don't need to create a play module and then go in and load. You can just literally just grab any audio file, drop it inside of the environment, and it'll just turn it into a play.
Yeah. We wanted to make very easy and fast the resampling process. You're building something completely very elaborate. You record 1 minute of it, and then you drag it back, and you can either put your former patch into the trash, and go from scratch and resample, etc. It's really part of the.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, well, I think that's a good time to maybe call time on the chat. Let's last. Oh, yeah, no, I think that's all. I think I've caught all the questions. There's one more question here. One more question. We'll take this as the last question. Is there a way to set up macros with transfer functions inside the Atelier, or will you have to do that inside of the DAW? Are you talking about? Oh, sorry. You can.
Yeah, I can show the kind of macros we have. So here, for example, I have this this tool called Control. It's a modulation source, but it's a weird one in that if you drag it to somewhere, it just follows the path of the movement of this big slider here. And so you can use it for macro controls because you can, for example, have this spread control, control it like that, but at the same time control, I don't know, the frequency of it in the opposite direction. So now you're controlling two different parameters at the same time with this. I don't know if it's easy to see or not. Or you can have a third one. So you can build your macro control with it, and because this control here has three different outputs. What you can do is set real transfer function. So the only transfer function you have right now is only this range of modulation. But if it's a feature that's useful, I'm willing to take requests, because I mean I've been wanting this too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. There is another question here. Is there a date for the Windows version?
Yeah, so we're releasing for, I didn't say that, we're releasing for macOS only first next week. We're already working on the Windows version. We're promising it Q1 26. Honestly, it could be that it's ready earlier. We're just super careful not to because we don't know what's ahead. We haven't done it yet, so technically there might be problems.
So this question now is going to go over my head a little bit.
Yes, that could be an option, definitely. I would love
that. Okay, well, Matthias, thank you ever so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Gaz. It's a real pleasure, and I was honored to be on your show.
But I think, this has been 4 years work or so. That's what you said to get it to this.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So, so the demo is available now then, is it?
Is it?
Technomatic seems to be downloading the demo now, but
if it's really the case, someone messed up.
That might be the GRM 3 rather than.
Oh yeah, it might be that. Yes,
it's Atelier that is the software that we're talking about specifically. So, he's downloading something. It might be Atelier. Making him worry here. Simon, that's funny. Yeah, the classic one. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's good. So yeah, thank you everybody in the chat room. Thank you so much for joining us. That was great, and some really good questions there as well. Brilliant. Yeah, amazing. And Matthias, best of luck with this release. I think it's going to go over extremely well. As I say, my first experience with it, within minutes, gigantic smile on my face, and just like, I was just like, this is the business. And I'm sure everybody is going to have a similar experience to me. So I think you will be onto something rather special. So some of you heard it here first on the Gaz Williams Show. Yes! Look at the quality of the guests I'm bringing. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much.
Again.
Matthias, thank you. Brilliant. All right. Cheerio. Bye-bye.